Hi, I'm Jason Inman.
And I'm Ashley Victoria Robinson.
And we're here to talk about the best Marvel alternate universe comic books. The times where they take the Marvel universe and they jumble it up, shake it up in a caboodle or whatever that name of that game is, a boggle game, and they throw it out on the table and the comics get weird. Now, we're answering this question because this question came from our Patreon, patreon.com/Jawiin, where you can support our free content here on YouTube and our podcast. And this question was asked by
Austin Maines.
Austin Maines, that's right. Thank you so much for this question. We're going to talk about some weird alternate universe comic books. But sad secret about Austin Maines, he's actually from Earth 5.
Wow.
Yeah, I hope the alternate universe authorities find him and send him back to that terrible, terrible place. Okay, but thank you for the question, though. All right, Ashley, we got to talk about this. There's a lot of really cool, weird Marvel alternate timelines, universes. It's really cool. Without a doubt, we're going to talk about what I think is the best right out top. To me, there's no contest. The best Marvel alternate universe is the Age of Apocalypse universe.
Really?
Yes. 100%.
No.
1995,
No.
the Age of Apocalypse event. We got to talk about this. There was a storyline called Legion Quest where accidentally Professor X was killed, and because of that, the X-Men never formed. Apocalypse took over the world, but Marvel Comics stopped every X-Men comic book and for 4 issues published alternate titles like Externals, The Astonishing X-Men, X-Man, Generation Next.
Astonishing X-Men later going on to become a regular X-Men title under Joss Whedon and John Cassaday.
But there were all these things like Cyclops actually had one eye, Cable had full use of his powers, Wolverine only had one arm.
Is that where Bishop was introduced?
No, Bishop was the one who remembered the old timeline.
That's right.
Bishop was introduced.
I knew Bishop was important.
Magneto was married to Rogue and the head of the X-Men.
Yes.
Kitty Pryde and Colossus were married, and they traded through. Nightcrawler was a pirate.
Yeah, and had one of his best costumes.
But what do you think about the Age of Apocalypse?
I think Age of Apocalypse is awesome. I also think it is very much a mark of its time. I don't think you could do it now. I think it's unfortunate
Although they just did Age of X-Men.
Yes, but it's not the same. I do think it's unfortunate that it's been sullied by not a great movie, but it was cool because it was such a swing, and to fully embrace it across all the titles was such a big deal at the time. Now that's something that we see fairly regularly, or
not that often. Actually.
I mean, you see issues that tie into events to the detriment of the storyline, but these were all really cool when they came out.
Well, yeah, that's the thing about it, and that's the reason why this becomes number one for me is because the simple fact that they stopped the titles.
Yeah.
And I can remember seeing these. I was reading comic books at this time when this came out and being like, what the hell is going on? Like, what are these titles with completely different logos? And there's no, if you hadn't read X-Men Age of Apocalypse Alpha, you had no idea what was going on.
You used to see them in quarter bins for a long, long time.
Age of Apocalypse?
Yeah, well, they're spin-offs.
Yes.
And you'd be like, what is the Externals? Yeah. I've never heard of this.
I loved it. I loved it. I love it. It became so popular, they made an action figure line for it.
Yes, they did.
They made a specific Age of Apocalypse action figure line. I still have some of those action figures. They're so awesome. But okay, so Ashley, you gave me a lot of guff.
I can't believe this is your number one.
Of course it's my number one. Yes! All right, what alternate Marvel Universe timeline do you think is better?
The best alternate Marvel Universe is the best Marvel Universe. It's the Ultimate Universe.
I never considered this.
Like, to me, there's no question.
Oh.
Like, you led into that, and I was like, Jason's going to say the Ultimate.
All right.
You didn't say the Ultimate.
I'm going to be honest here. My head never considered that an alternate universe, but I concede the point. You're absolutely right. That is an alternate Marvel universe. I don't know why. Talk about the Ultimate Universe. What is it? Why is it the best? It is the best. I'm sorry.
So
I didn't think about it. I didn't put it together.
It's okay. If you like Marvel MCU, Marvel Cinematic Universe, and you've never read the comics, you owe everything you like to the Ultimate Universe. So, like, in the mid-aughts, I don't remember exactly.
It was like 2001, I believe, is when it happened.
Then let me take it back. At the beginning of this millennium.
Yeah, it's very early.
They basically decided, like, let's update our Marvel canon for this new generation of readers, and let's kind of ground them in a way that they never had before. Cap, Iron Man, all those OG Marvel characters. And we got characters like a weird drunk Thor who was maybe a god. Well, it was Captain America acted like a soldier.
Yeah, it was kind of they advertised this line They said it was like the idea of what if Stan Lee and Jack Kirby had created these characters in 2001.
Yeah.
So Wolverine had a goatee.
Yes, he did.
Spider-Man was 16 and he was a web designer.
Yep.
Yeah. Captain America. Thor was a new age hippie.
Yeah.
And Nick Fury finally became Samuel L. Jackson.
And Janet Van Dyne was the best Janet ever. She had actual
but they were
wasp
called
wings.
Ultimate Spider-Man. Ultimate Spider-Man was the first, then came Ultimate X-Men, and then it was eventually led into the Ultimates because Mark Miller was like, well, I never understood what they were avenging, so let's just call it the Ultimates because the idea that's the Ultimate program.
It's funny, one of our other questions from Austin Maines, who suggested this one, was how many people have the Avengers actually avenged?
None.
Which I think is a very shady, very funny question.
Maybe Jarvis that one time he died.
When did Ultimate FF come around? Was that much later?
It was much later. Ultimate FF didn't happen until I think like 05 or 06.
Oh wow, I didn't realize there was that much time.
Ultimate FF is also great. The first batch of Ultimate titles, with the exception of Ultimate Marvel Team Up, are pretty damn solid.
Yeah.
They're really good.
Yeah.
But you're right. I guess I've forgotten about it because since they basically have imploded that universe
and
it
just
doesn't
like
exist
taken
anymore.
Miles and everything else that they liked and put it
There
in
you go.
616.
And Miles Morales could be considered probably the greatest invention of the Ultimate Universe. He's an Ultimate character.
I think so.
I think Miles Morales should be called Ultimate Spider-Man.
I agree.
Yeah, because I think he should still be in a title called Ultimate Spider-Man to herald back to where he came.
Yeah.
So
yeah, for me it was the ultimate. I was like so thrown by Age of Apocalypse. What's another pick that you had?
Another one that we have to talk about, and the legacy is still being felt till now, is the 2099 universe.
I mean, how would we feel it in Spider-Verse?
Yeah, and this universe was created in 1992.
Wow.
1992. It was launched. It first launched off with titles like Spider-Man 2099. Punisher 2099, Doom 2099, because Dr. Doom was a hero in that thing. Gets a really cool redesign, eventually written by Warren Ellis. And then Ravage 2099, which was written by Stan Lee. It was like his return back to Marvel Comics. It was not great. Sorry, Stan, but it wasn't. I know you're long ago, but that. But eventually they expanded it. They got like Fantastic Four 2099. They had the X-Men 2099. They had Hulk 2099. It blew up, but the 2099 universe lives and dies off of its most popular character, Spider-Man 2099, because that title was written by Peter David and drawn by the amazing Rick Leonardi, who designed the best Spider-Man 2099 costume, of course, the classic blue and red. And spoilers for Spider-Verse, Spider-Man 2099 is now in a movie.
But also, you want to talk about the impact of that legacy. I mean, Spider-Man 2099...
Oh, I didn't explain what that was. Should I explain what that is?
Let me finish my point.
Oh, sorry.
Spider-Man 2099 still regularly has series published about him at Marvel Comics. Who is Spider-Man 2099?
Well, 2099, Marvel 2099 is basically the idea that it was, even though it was created in 1992, it was set in a cyberpunk United States where the United States was basically being run by corporations. Anyways, superheroes are non-existent. And and they look at the present day Marvel heroes as like legends. It's basically a cyberpunk future. So that's 2099, and these characters exist in it. Miguel O'Hara is, of course, Spider-Man 29. It's a great run. If you've never read it, it's really, really, really great. It's really solid, actually. It's really good. You have another pick?
I do. I kind of have two that I want to lump together, even though they're very different.
Please do.
Because I think they kind of did the same thing. I want to talk about House of M and Old Man Logan.
Oh,
which are two X-Men alternate universes.
Choices.
Yes, and they both have impacts that continue. They continue to affect contemporary continuity. I love House of M because basically Scarlet Witch gets a bug up her butt and says no more mutants. And so there's no more mutants, but it affects the larger universe. And you see what happens when everyone wakes up in a no more mutants world. And just for the Spider-Man story alone, where Gwen didn't die, is really
isn't he also
wonderful.
famous?
Yes.
He's famous,
yes.
right?
Yeah, he gets everything
Everybody loves
he wants.
him. Everybody loves him, yeah.
I thought it was
he's bald.
I thought it was a really cool exploration of what is the opposite of the X-Men? Well, there's no mutants. What does the world look like? And the X-Men is such an integral part of the Marvel universe that's why I appreciated it. And then for years and years and years, it was a big deal when mutants came back. It was a big deal when people got their powers back. It was a big deal when mutant babies were being born. Like, we have felt the impact of that for decades.
For a long time.
And I think Old Man Logan is similar Because Old Man Logan, if you've seen the Logan movie, you will like this.
Mm-hmm.
Old Man Logan is Logan way in the future. The adamantium is poisoning him, so he goes on a road trip with Hawkeye and kind of does the best hits of the Marvel Universe.
Yeah, created by Mark Miller as
Yep.
a one-off in a regular Wolverine title. It's sort of Mad Max Logan.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it has since, that universe has since been picked up for more comics. They're doing Old Woman Laura now?
They're now, right now, I think, at the time of this recording, they are publishing Old Man Quill.
Yeah.
Like, they have expanded it to everything.
I hate
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. But they published an Old Man Logan series written by Jeff Lemire for like 20 issues.
But
it was
that's
crazy.
another one that's like, what do we love about Wolverine? We love that he's impervious and we love that he's immortal. Well, what if he's not?
Yeah.
Like, they're both inward explorations reflecting back on these two iconic things in the Marvel Universe, which is why I kind of wanted to talk about them together. Do you have another pick?
I want to go back to what I believe. I have two picks as well.
Okay.
I have a soft favorite of mine that
I have another favorite.
I have a soft favorite of mine. I have two choices. But the first one I want to bring up is what I think might be Marvel's first alternate universe.
Mm-hmm.
Days of Future Past.
So many words on the page.
Yep.
Great story.
1981, and it's only 2 issues.
Yeah.
And this is where, in the faraway future of 2013, it introduces these Sentinels have killed and incarcerated every mutant. And it's a so iconic, brilliant cover of Wolverine and Kitty Pryde in front of this poster where all the X-Men mutants are slain, or missing,
Yeah.
apprehended. Again, it's only 2 issues, but it was later adapted into one of the best X-Men movies of all time.
And it revolves around a young girl.
Kitty.
Which is so
Yep.
cool. This is the reason why people like me love Kitty Pryde.
Well, and also, this is the first time that an Old Man Logan was introduced, because Wolverine had the weird gray stripes
Oh,
in,
yeah,
in his beard. And he's killed within seconds, actually, because Colossus throws him at a Sentinel, and the Sentinel obliterates
It's
him.
awesome, actually.
And only his metal skeleton remains.
Yeah.
Another favorite of mine is one from the 90s, 1998, called Mutant X. A lot of people don't know about this series. This is where Scott Summers' baby brother Havoc is sent into an alternate world where he leads a team of mutants called the Six, and they have become more successful than the X-Men. And the Six is it's him, it's Storm as a vampire.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, because that happened in the 80s. It's
Jubilee was also a vampire for a while.
Archangel's called the Fallen because he never recovered from his time of the apocalypse. Iceman is still he can never turn back to human form because he was cursed by Loki in the 80s.
Oh, that's
for that.
cool.
And so that had not changed. Madeline Pryor is still alive, and she's the Goblin Queen, and that's Alex's wife. And then the last member is Brute, and he's a green sort of Hulk. It's a Hank McCoy that has experimented so much on himself that he can no longer speak in full human sentences.
Wow.
And it's their team. And so, like, the Spider-Man in that universe is Man-Spider, which is actually secret revealed. This is a spoiler for Mutant X. He's a clone.
Yes.
Reed Richards is a villain. Captain America is also revealed to not be the Steve Rogers. He's revealed to be a mutant. That's from a later experiment. So it does all these little twists. It's written by Howard Mackey, but it only ran for, it was only originally intended to be 12 issues, but it became so popular that it ran to 32 issues.
Wow.
And to me, I actually think it's Havoc's best story up until Uncanny Avengers. Also, it's the best Havoc design of all time. It's a soft favorite of mine.
That's
so, what would be your last choice?
The
for
last
best
thing I want to
alternate?
throw out, I don't know anything about the larger universe. I just love a single character that came out of it. Shout out to M2 because it gave us
yes.
Mayday Parker.
Yeah.
So Jason also loves it. Jason's the person who turned me on to it.
Yeah, it has they did a whole bunch of titles. It was in the late 20s. It was supposed to be like set 20 years ahead, the next generation.
Yeah, and it's just an exploration of a lot of their children. And
Yes.
Mayday is Peter and Mary Jane's daughter, and she's Spider-Girl, and she's awesome!
Yeah, the Spider characters usually take on the lead of all these alternate universes.
We
which-
love us a Spidey.
Yeah, there you go. So, if you want to get your question answered just like Austin Maines, all you have to do is go to patreon.com. There's a card up there. There's a link down in the patreon.com/Jawiin, and we will answer your question just like Austin Maines. Remember, he's from Earth. He's a weirdo alternate. He's not a weirdo. He's a very nice fella from an alternate universe, and you gotta watch him. He's gonna take it. He's the spearhead of an alternate universe invasion, and we need to watch out for him. I'm just saying. Okay. Woo! All right. So get out in the comments. Tell us whether you think Austin Maines is from an alternate dimension or not. And while you're down there, tell us your favorite alternate Marvel universe and click subscribe.
And while you're visiting patreon.com/Jawiin, why not check out Crisis Club for more cool video content with Jason and I?
Yeah, that's right. Watch out for Austin.